Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning, Barbados. Morning to you indeed, and welcome to Tuesday, the 11th of August, 2026. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you everywhere. Thank you for joining us here in beautiful Barbados. Perhaps you're watching from somewhere across the world right now and you've never had your trip and your journey to Barbados. I say come as soon as you possibly can, because when you come, you're coming to a slice of paradise. We don't claim to be paradise, we claim to just be the slice of it. And I want you to give consideration to making your trip to Barbados. For those of you watching us on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, cbc.bb, we say thank you for doing so. And most of all, share the show, share the love. Bring others along to be a part of what we do every weekday, Monday to Friday, 6 in the morning till 8 o'clock, just a couple hours. Have company with yourself, have company with us as well. We absolutely love to read your comments. So do engage with us through your comments and your segments that we share with you all the time, and we'll read it, as we often do as well. So share the show, share the love. Say good morning to someone today. Say happy birthday to someone today. So if it's your birthday today, we wish you a very happy birthday. As a matter of fact, now I do remember, we had a colleague, Alex Murray, we called her. She's now Alex Ward. Today is her birthday. So to you, Alex, good morning to you, Alexandra Ward. Happy birthday to you today. I saw you at church on Sunday and I reminded you that I will talk about you. So yes to you, Alex. Happy birthday to you today. Have a beautiful one. Such a lovely soul. Difficult at times, but that's life. But she's a lovely, very focused woman. And so to you, Alex, we say happy birthday to you indeed. Enjoy your today and the rest of your tomorrows, if it be the will of the Lord, that will flow to you indeed, because we know you have a connection and a relationship with God. So to you, Alex, happy birthday to you today. So to all of you marking today a significant milestone, be it a birthday, an anniversary, just a special moment. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, happy special moment to all of you indeed. So make it fantastic today. Good morning also to the little ones who are preparing to head back to school. I know the parents are having a time of their life going around gathering all that they need to make your journey through school one that is impactful and purposeful as well. So good morning to you as well. I hope you recognize the hard work that your parents put in just to get you ready for school as well, and be respectful of that as well, to make the most of the time given to you while at school and while in a community known as school of other people like yourself who want to learn, who want to be good citizens of Barbados. I hope you recognize that. Part of that recognition is taking the time now, if you already have your school books for your next school term and your next class, take some time to read them through. Familiarize yourself with the subjects that you're engaged with, and in familiarizing, it makes your journey and your transition into school so much more meaningful indeed. And so don't just put them in the corner, don't just, as we say, back your book. Take some time to turn the pages of your book and see what are you planning to be a part of next term as you prepare to go into a new class in the new term starting in September. So yes, have your fun during your holiday, have your time looking through your books as well as you prepare yourself mentally for the next journey. To those little ones who are going off to celebrate and to compete on behalf of Barbados at the upcoming 30th Goodwill Swimming Championships in Trinidad, we say good luck to all of you. We really want you to go there and do your best in the pool. Beat the clock. As your coach has been telling you, if you beat that clock, you're guaranteed all other success as well, whether it be a personal best or just one of the podium finishes as well. So to all of our swimmers heading out to represent Barbados, all the best to each of you. Mornin Barbados continues to support you. They promise to be back at the end of the game following Tuesday around 2 in the afternoon, and I always encourage you, Barbados, turn up at the airport to welcome them back. They are guaranteeing doing their best, and so we must be able to respect and celebrate that best on their return, as well as a grateful nation. So the children are heading out to represent us in swimming as well. This Thursday coming up, because I want to get ahead of it so that you remember it, we are headed for Q in the community to the Amber Room at Dratsall St. George. That's where Q in the community this week will be. You tend to ask and ask because you're not paying enough attention. Pay attention, look at your screen. This coming Thursday from 11 o'clock, the Amber Room at Dratsall St. George is where we'll all gather for this week's edition of Q in the community. It starts at 11 in the morning, so plan your time for Thursday. Spread the news as to where Q in the community will be this Thursday, and then show up and gather for Q in the community this Thursday at the Amber Room in Dratsall, St. George. If you're a guest to our island, ask those folks who are Bajans around you and let them direct you as to where the Amber Room, Dratsall, St. George is. And I encourage you as a guest to our island as well, we call them visitors, I call them guests, that you make your way over, because it is going to be an experiment in some social interaction that you will never forget. A good one, a good experience indeed. So do take your time to go over there. But most of all, while you're here as well, travel around our island, move around Barbados and explore our different little hidden nooks and crannies and engage with the people. The rum shop, they say, is a really good place for you to begin that social experiment as well, to get to know the people of Barbados, warm and engaging, very ready to welcome you and give you the support. As a matter of fact, yesterday I saw some guests to our island driving a hired car with a map through the window, engaging with Barbadians as to directions. And I thought that was a beautiful sight. I don't know the last I saw that. So it was really lovely to see guests to our island engaging with locals who point out where to go on that map to get to the destination they're trying to get to. So, yep, lots of things to enjoy in Barbados, not just the beach. Take some time to drive around. Get lost, I say, because in getting lost, you discover so much more. And it's okay, because everywhere leads right back to Bridgetown. Just follow the bus stops. Simple. Follow the bus stops. Bus to city, stop. You see that big red and white sign? Follow all of those. They will bring you right back to the city. Simple. Isn't Barbados beautiful? The roads are cut in that particular way. We do it in that particular way, like nowhere else indeed. So take some time to discover Barbados as we go. Now, coming up today on Morning Barbados, in our conversations on CARICOM, we get excited because one of the world's foremost noted people who changed lives, and so his legacy continues. Fidel Castro, had he been alive on Thursday, will be marking his 100th anniversary of birth. His birthday is being celebrated on that day. So what are we doing in the Caribbean to recognize this outstanding Caribbean man? We'll talk about that when we have our conversations on CARICOM in just a little while. We'll also be catching you up on that powerful earthquake that has rocked and wrecked in significant ways Colombia. And we'll update you on what's happening there, how many have passed, and what are the activities, what's going on, what is the president of Colombia saying as well. It's one that I think we as a people of the region need to spend some time focusing on, because our brothers in Colombia and sisters need us right now. So we'll share with you what has happened there and get a sense of what's going on as well. 'Tis the season of emancipation, and so the Marcus Garvey Day activities are just around the corner. We'll get some update on as to what to expect. And for those of you who pitched to be a part of the possibility of winning some support through that endowment fund as well, we'll share with you who and what and how and all of those kinds of details this morning as well. Project Soft is back. Project Soft is an initiative of the National Council on Substance Abuse. It's a week-long camp for those transitioning from primary to secondary school. All those details we'll share with you when we sit with the members of the National Council on Substance Abuse. And we'll remind you, as Barbados forges its way towards marking its 60th anniversary of independence, about the project known as BIM at 60. It is a music initiative by the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, and so we remind you as to how you can be a part of that initiative as well. Barbados is moving towards 60 years of independence, and 5 years as a republic is a big milestone, and so we're celebrating in a big way. So ahead of that, BIM at 60 will remind you about how you can be a part. So a lot to look forward to this morning, everybody. What I'll do is take a break right here. When we come back, we'll get going in our conversations on CARICOM.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Time on a Tuesday morning for us to have what I think is the most informational, educational, interesting, and exciting segment known as our Conversations on CARICOM. And so this week we're turning our attention to Cuba and Cuba's iconic Fidel Castro, one who is so significant in changing the lives of people all over the world, and we'll delve a little bit more for a particular reason. I'm joined this morning not by Ambassador Commission because he's not feeling well today, but by Cuba's Ambassador to Barbados, Her Excellency Janet Stable. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Good morning.
It
Thank
is
you.
so good to see you as always.
It's good to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you to the Ambassador Commission for this opportunity once again. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome indeed. Let's turn our attention to the man of the moment, President Fidel Castro, who in his stature alone meant so much to people. I want to look through his life for just a moment, from birth right through to death, and some significant milestones, because I know recently in our day of national significance, one of your countrymen spoke about the significance of July the 26th to Cuba, and we know what it means to us in Barbados. Let's talk about the man Fidel.
So, Fidel is our leader, is our historic leader of the Cuban Revolution, but he's a man of the word. He's a man of thoughts, he's a man of dignity, he's a man of honor, and he's a man that had the ability to create a program, a programmatic platform for the Cuban Revolution. He had that ability. So, and we can see Fidel. I would like to mention some reference about the life of Fidel. Fidel started with the revolutionary thoughts since he was a young man, and he had the ability, as I said, to be a leader for other young men that joined him. And for example, we can mention this key moment of July 26, 1953, and after the attacks of the Moncada and Carlos Manuel de Céspedes barracks in Santiago de Cuba, he was getting prison, and he had a judgment in Santiago de Cuba, and he had the possibility to speak, to defend by himself at that time in October 1953, and defend by himself at gift. His defense was about the thing that he was thinking that the Cuba has to be as a country. So he made reference to all the problems, the social problems that Cuba had at that moment in education, in health, in the industry, in the employment, and it was the problem that Cuba had at that moment. And he had the ability to give solutions, to write the solution for these problems of our society. And it was that he done after the Cuban Revolution. So he was the programmatic platform. He was the document that allowed to Fidel and allowed to the people of Cuba to start working to to try to solve this problem, these social problems in our society. So it was that man that had the vision, that had the anti-colonialist thought, that had the anti-imperialist thought, and he knew, the importance of a revolution to change all the society and to give the people the benefits that they deserve at that time and during all these years.
He was born on August the 13th, 1926, to poor conditions. Poor conditions. Parents were not wealthy at all, and he wasn't necessarily the most brilliant young boy, but the circumstances at that time led him to align himself with a philosophy that says he wanted to move our people out of those conditions, and so he went about doing so. He studied, he went abroad to the United States, he took time to be associated with people who are of a certain ideology, and then he studied law. And I want to look now at the foundation of his thinking for just a moment, and why we as a region need to celebrate this man.
Yes, he studied law, as you said, and he felt the necessity to make changes because he realized since the beginning, he was a very young man, that Cuba needs changed. And he realized that people were suffering at that time. So based on his studies, and he was a philosopher, he was a great thinker. So he realized that it was necessary to do a real change, a total change, and it only was possible with the revolution. So that's why he was the leader of the thoughts of this idea to change all the society in Cuba. And of course, he studied law. At the university, he started creating this movement of young people to join him and to this battle, to this struggle, to making changes in Cuba, the necessary changes for the people of Cuba, thinking always in the people. And people realized that he was the leader. People identify him as a leader. So that's why we named him not only the leader for that time, we named him the leader, the historic leader of the Cuban Revolution, because he had the vision to see our principle for this new era, for new society of Cuba, but at the same time, his legacy is in this time as well for the future, and we will speak about that.
Quite visionary he was indeed, and so of all that you're talking about is so true, because he joined that revolution and went to Dominican Republic. He was so keen on seeing change not just in Cuba alone, but across the region as well.
Across the region,
and while that failed at the time, he learned a lot. And so he associated himself with people like Batista. Let's talk about that and how he got into Parliament and into politics and to eventually rise to be the leader, and his outreach across the region.
Yes, he had the ability to study all the political system, the economic and the political system. He was a very good student since the university, and after that he continued reading, he continued analyzing the world. He had a very huge capacity, a very huge ability to learn about the historic leaders of Cuba, but at the same time the philosophers of universal philosophers in the world. So he studied a lot, and he analyzed very deeply about the situation in Cuba, and that's why he was able to build this guidance for the Cuban society. So, but he was feeding about all these universal thinkers in the world, and because he had the capacity, he was a very intelligent man, and he had the capacity to absorb all these thoughts in the world, no, in the benefit of his own vision of what he wanted to do with Cuba, or what he wanted that people understand that it was necessary to do for Cuba.
Because the people came first.
Yes.
Always centered to what his philosophy was.
Always thinking in people. It's not a revolution. It's a revolution with Fidel, because he is our leader, but at the same time, he was a revolution of people of Cuba. So he had the ability as well to transmit, to convey to the people that it was necessary to do this changing, because he cannot do a revolution from himself and alone. So he needs the support of the people. And the people understood at that time, and people understand now the necessity that Cuba had to be independent, to defend our independence and sovereignty, and based on what we are able to do for ourselves.
And so the philosophy of Cuba, I'll frame it like that for just a moment, rose as a consequence of people, but Fidel in particular, who was perhaps the foremost and well-known character within the Cuban story about moving the people forward. Let's talk about his relationship and Cuba's relationship to Barbados and Cuba and how Fidel helped us as people of the region as well. Because at the time of his, anyway, no, you tell me. Sorry, let me hold that back.
I would like to highlight a very important thing is that Fidel believed in the Latin American Caribbean integration. He believed in that. He believed in the Caribbean, despite of our differences in languages and in systems, of course, in societies, in differences, the cultural differences. Despite of this, he believed that Caribbean can be together, can be united. So that was since the beginning of the revolution. He worked for this unity of Cuba with the rest of the Caribbean and vice versa. So, and based on his anti-colonialism, anti-imperialism vision, he worked very hard. He was like the promoter of this integration, and he believed in that. That's why after that, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Jamaica decided to establish diplomatic relationships with Cuba. He thought that it was very important that we had embassies in each, each independent island of the Caribbean. That is what we have today, nowadays. So we had embassies in each independent island, and this is because he identified the importance, the significance, the meaningful relation with the Caribbean countries. And that's why we have been defending this relationship with the Caribbean countries. We have been strengthening this relationship, these bonds, because we are the same. We are the same people, and we believe in that we can be together to achieve more positive results and to cooperate more, to base in this principle of solidarity and internationalism.
And that principle became a global principle. I want to share with you folks, when we come right back after this break, a little bit more about the impact of Fidel Castro, the philosophy of Cuba on the rest of the world, and then how are we going to really mark the significant milestone to be reached in recognition of his 100th birthday coming up on Thursday, but just how outstanding this figure has been to the rest of the world in a moment. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Preserve your personal priceless memories. Here at CBC, we transfer VHS, DVDs, Beta, U-matic, and DV-Cam tapes to modern digital formats. Safely, quickly, and affordably. Call CBC on 467-5437 to get started. In just 2 weeks, your memories will be ready to relive and share again.
Are you ready to turn it all the way up?
We're having today's conversation on CARICOM looking at the man Fidel Castro, president of Cuba, that on Thursday, the 13th of August, would have been his 100th birthday, but his legend is legendary because everyone knows the story and everyone respects the story of the contribution of Fidel Castro and how he's moved Cuba to be a partner with so many global people as well. One of who was Mandela. Nelson Mandela, there was a recent comment I saw online where he responded to the American journalist about that relationship between Cuba and Africa. And Nelson Mandela took the time to say, at a time when Africa needed help, they visited America. They couldn't even get close to the leadership of America because they didn't want to meet with them. How then could we turn our backs on Cuba, who opened their doors and readily stepped through the agency of Fidel Castro to help the people of South Africa? And so that is one unforgettable comment for me because his reach was global. His philosophy was global. I keep saying the philosophy of Cuba. And so Ambassador Janet Stabler is with us indeed, Cuba's ambassador to Barbados. And again, this puts into context how far-reaching the philosophy of Cuba through the work of Fidel Castro has been. I know from our history alone, Fidel visited Barbados and he met with then Prime Minister Owen Arthur. And I want to show people watching right now a little bit of that glimpse into our past so that we begin to talk a little bit more about the visit to Barbados. Take a look, everybody.
For as Frederick Douglass, the great African-American abolitionist, observed, where there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet deprecate agitation are men who want crops without plowing the land. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its waves. It is in the context of that struggle that it is now my very high honor, on behalf of the government and people of Barbados, to invite the President of the Republic of Cuba to address you.
Hacen falta los papeles
We need the papers. I'm sorry.
para podernos entender mejor
In order to be able to better communicate.
y para que yo no me extienda
In order for me
demasiado.
also not to elaborate too much and make too long a speech. Yeah, Campo.
Estimado señor primer ministro,
Dear Mr. Prime Minister,
miembros del gabinete,
members of the cabinet,
parlamentarios y autoridades,
parliamentarians and authorities,
queridos hermanos y hermanas barbadenses,
dear brothers and sisters from Barbados,
he escuchado aquí preciosas palabras
I have listened to beautiful words here,
llenas de sentimiento,
words full of great sentiment,
profundas,
very deep expressions,
que hacen calar nuestros corazones.
which really get deep to our hearts.
Yo traigo unas palabras más sencillas
My words are more simple
para reflexionar sobre algunos de los problemas
They are but a reflection on some of the problems
de nuestra época.
of our days.
Quiero comenzar
I would like to begin
por expresar nuestro infinito agradecimiento
by expressing to you our extremely appreciation,
al primer ministro Arthur
and of course to Prime Minister Arthur,
por sus generosas y emotivas palabras con relación a Cuba y al noble y desinteresado aporte de nuestro pueblo en las luchas más recientes por la liberación de África.
I'd like to express my extreme appreciation to Prime Minister Arthur for his generous and moving words related to Cuba and to the noble and selfless contribution made by our people in the most recent struggles for the liberation of Africa.
Quiero agradecer también
I would also like to express my appreciation,
las nobles y profundas palabras
the noble and profound words
de los que me precedieron.
expressed by the previous speakers.
Debo decir, sin embargo, que el pueblo cubano no hizo más que saldar una deuda con África y con la humanidad.
I should say, however, that what the Cuban people did was to pay back a debt to Africa and to mankind.
Cientos de miles de hijos e hijas de África fueron arrancados a la fuerza de sus lugares de origen y llevados como esclavos a Cuba, donde a fuerza de sudor, sacrificio y martirio crearon riquezas para el lujo y disfrute de sus crueles amos, pero que con su sangre generosa y su noble raza contribuyeron a forjar la nación digna y heroica que es la Cuba de hoy.
Hundreds of thousands of children from Africa were forcibly uprooted from their native lands and carried as slaves to Cuba, where with their sweat, sacrifices and martyrdom, they created the riches for the luxury and enjoyment of their cruel masters. But at the same time, with their generous blood and their noble race, they contributed to shape up the worthy and heroic nation that Cuba is today.
And so, Ambassador, I watched you while the video started to play. Your eyes are welling up even still. What does it mean to you to see the Cuban leader, Fidel Castro, in video, in Barbados, making such a powerful presentation?
So it's a very meaningful moment for me and for the Cuban people. And he demonstrated that he believes in the struggle for the liberation of people. And that's why he mentioned Africa. And we didn't do anything, we didn't do something that we will, it was an obligation. No, it was a duty. I think it was something, as he said, that we pay back a debt from Africa because he was part of our people. He helped to liberate our people because they were part of our identity. So that's why it's very important to highlight this moment and the importance for Cuba to be part of the liberation of African people. We are brothers. We are the same. This is the same of Africa with the Caribbean people as well. We are the same. So we have to continue defending that. And that is so important to have in this moments, to have discussions, to try to see the significance of to continue these struggles, these battles for our to defend our independence and to defend our sovereignties. And it's, for me, this is the importance of this particular moment here in Barbados. That, by the way, it was not the only visit of Fidel to Barbados. This was the official visit of Fidel to Barbados, but the first time was in 1994. He participated in the first global conference on sustainable development of a small island state.
Yes.
He made at that time a very powerful speech about the reality of our small island and the necessity to defend the rights that we have to develop for ourselves and to get the right to have the same possibilities that the rest of the development country. And the second time was in 1998, and it was a very significant moment because not only for that speech at that moment, at the Busa statue, it was that day was unveiled the Cubana monument.
Yes.
Yes, in Pains Bay.
Pains Bay.
Pains Bay. Sorry, and it was a very significant visit for these two moments, and it was part of a tour that Fidel made for other Caribbean countries as well. So and. It highlighted the importance for Fidel to visit and to see directly to Caribbean people. And the first time, and the third time, and the last one was in 2005 to celebrate the summit, the second summit, Cuba CARICOM Cuba, in Barbados. And it was a meaningful moment as well, because it was the last visit of Fidel to Barbados, and it was the last visit of Fidel to Caribbean. I think it was the last visit to Fidel to the Caribbean, and it was very significant because it had this summit was the moment where the Fidel, on behalf of the Cuban people, identify the areas of cooperation with the Caribbean, and we started at that moment to increase this cooperation. So the students, many young people went to Cuba to study in different specialties. Many people from the Caribbean went to Cuba to receive medical treatment, and at the same time, the Caribbean people demonstrate their solidarity and their willingness to cooperate with the Cuban people as well. And we think a lot, as Fidel said at that moment, he expressed the gratitude of the Caribbean people for supporting Cuba in the vote against the blockade of the United States. The U.S. blockade against the Cuban people.
We're seeing a picture there on the screen, if you just didn't look as well, of his last visit to Barbados in 2005 for that CARICOM Cuba summit, indeed. So it's soon after the year, he died. 2016 he died. And so it was one of those unforgettable moments because it hurt the Caribbean, it hurt the world, that this legend is no longer with us. But he stays with us. And so what do you see as his legacy and that thing that people will never forget?
Yeah. I think I feel very proud and I'm very emotional when I heard stories here from people of Barbados about the visits of Fidel to Barbados and the personal stories they had with Fidel. So Fidel, it means that Fidel was a man not only for Cuba, it was a man for the Caribbean, for Africa, for the world. So I think he was a guidance. He's like a guidance. His thoughts are like a guidance for what we should do for defending our independence and to maintain this philosophy and this ideology of anti-colonialism and anti-imperialism thoughts. So. And that's why we are celebrating, because it's a celebration of the life, the Fidel's life. And we are commemorating since the last years, in the 2025, to this year, the 2026, the 100th anniversary, the 100th birthday of Fidel Castro. And we have been done many activities, not only Cuba, in the rest of the world, to commemorate, to celebrate the dignity, to celebrate the honor to have Fidel among us, because his legacy continue alive. So in Cuba is happening now the first international colloquium, Fidel's legacy and future, because we have to see the Fidel souls to the future and study the Fidel souls to see how we can improve our societies, how we can use his thoughts about how we can build a better world. So that is important. And in this moment, many solidarity organizations, social organizations, civil societies, organizations, artists, academics, many people are meeting in Cuba in this moment to celebrate this international colloquium from August 10. It started yesterday to August the 13th, when we celebrate the 100th anniversary. And here in Barbados, of course, we have to celebrate as well this meaningful moment, and we will have an event in Daphne Jacket Theater at Queen's Park the Thursday, August the 13th, and at 6:30 p.m. we will do a very simple but very meaningful, with all our love to what Fidel represents, not only for Cuba, even for the Caribbean people. So we will be there at 6:30. All of you are invited to celebrate Fidel's life.
Folks, Thursday, Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre in Queen's Park, 6:30. Everyone is invited really to celebrate this man, the moment, 100 years of really his life on earth, and his contribution continues to be stellar and colossal. And so we want you to show up at the Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre this Thursday for 6:30. It's a very moving moment of celebration, but it's also a way for us to reconnect with his philosophies, his voice, his messages, his movement, so that we can all advance that movement in solidarity with our neighbors in Cuba. And so this is very, very important indeed. Ambassador, again, congratulations. This is a really significant milestone for Cuba, and I know for you personally as well, and us as Barbadians, having had the time with him, we understand him better. And that relationship with Cuba, we cherish. And I want you to remember that always.
Thank you so much again for this opportunity. And I will be always able to share with you about the Cuban reality, but at the same time about the importance of these bonds between our people. That is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Cuba's ambassador to Barbados, Her Excellency Janet Stable, joining us this morning on our conversations on CARICOM. Morning Barbados continues right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We the best music.
Are you ready to turn it all the way up? We make you feel good. Your #1 party station. Non-stop hits and the latest trends in music, fashion, and everything lit. Hit us up on socials at 981 Barbados on IG and 98.1 The One on Facebook. This is your world, your playlist, your station. 98.1 The One.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now, a number of you have traveled already to Colombia. You know, we've had many sessions with the Embassy of Colombia to Barbados, indeed, and we've talked about the country of beauty and what a beautiful country it truly is. And so I remember yesterday morning, after finishing the show, it was just after 8 o'clock as well, I'd gone somewhere else in the building just to have a little communion. And while having that communion, I received a message from a friend of mine who is visiting the country of beauty, Colombia. And he said to me, boy, we just had an earthquake here in Colombia. That was around 8:40. Which is 7:40 the time in Colombia. And I thought, oh, well, it was just a little rumble, a little bit of a shake, nothing to worry about. Just settle yourself and settle your nerves. We'll get through this. But then I saw this. That woke the world up. I reached immediately then to the Colombian embassy here. Ambassador, Her Excellency Elizabeth Taylor-Jay is in Colombia, and she was about to have a meeting with her staff here in Barbados as well. And so having then made that connection, I'm told that she immediately just said, hey, we're having an earthquake. Connection was disrupted, and so she set out to take safe harbor. But I want to continue sharing with you some of the images that we've been seeing, showing all yesterday, because I've been following this. And what we do know that search and rescue efforts continue in Colombia at the moment. So far, the death toll is well above 100. Many people are still missing. Buildings have collapsed. You just saw one of the spires from one of the cathedrals. It's a very religious community in Colombia. And one of the spires of the cathedral there fell. People are scrambling for safety and for stability, most of all. And so more than 2,700 people are supported. Are said to be reported missing. Can we all around? I saw a case where people were on a bus and it was just rocking. People holding on to anything that they thought was solid to steady themselves as it goes as well. Take a look.
A powerful earthquake struck western Colombia, causing extensive damage across several departments. The hardest hit areas included Choco, Valle del Cauca, Risaralda, Caldas, and Quindio, where buildings were damaged or collapsed and emergency crews faced difficult rescue conditions. Structural failures were reported in major cities, while residents evacuated buildings showing cracks, instability, or other visible signs like damage overall.
temblando a esta hora aquí en Quito. A esta hora está temblando aquí en Quito. Mire, mire. Temblando. Temblando. Temblando, temblando aquí en Quito. Ya.
In Chaco, communities near the epicenter experienced intense shaking and significant structural disruption. Quibdó reported damaged buildings and collapsed structures, while authorities warned residents about unstable sites and possible aftershocks. San Jose del Palmar and Novita were also strongly affected, with local resources stretched by the emergency. The destruction created an urgent need for additional government assistance and rescue support.
Señores, buenos días. Les informo. Un temblor durísimo aquí en Pereira. Vea cómo quedó el hotel. Gracias a Dios, estamos bien.
Cali suffered some of the most serious urban damage, with structures reportedly collapsing or sustaining severe structural damage. Some people were feared trapped inside damaged buildings, prompting authorities to request additional rescue personnel from Bogota and Medellin. Residents were urged to leave buildings with major cracks or instability. Military facilities and other infrastructure around Cali and Buenaventura were also affected.
Allá. Espero que esté bien, esperemos que esté bien. Puta.
Mire.
Estamos en unos árboles.
No, ya no, mi amor, ya no.
¿Dónde quedaba él?
Terremoto. Ay, mira la catedral, mira, se cayó el santo, se cayó. Terremoto, se cayó el santo de la catedral.
That's what you just saw, raw footage coming out of Colombia yesterday at the 7.4 magnitude earthquake that hit Colombia. And it was felt also in neighboring Venezuela and Panama. So it had far-reaching implications indeed. And so you just saw the level of destruction we saw there. We did reach out to some people who are there to have connection, but none of them was available. They, at the last minute, could not do it anymore with us because they wanted to get a sense of what's happening on the ground now, what happened while it was happening there, because a lot of people thought it would settle and it would not be that bad, but if you just saw the structural damage caused as a consequence. I am told that because of how religious the community there is, many people headed out to church after the ground has settled just a moment. There were a couple aftershocks, not as significant as we just saw the 7.4, but nonetheless, they're now preparing to get themselves back to some regular life. Imagine at 7:30 in the morning, you're heading to work. You're heading out to your regular life and your regular activity, and then your world literally crumbled around you. And that's what our brothers and sisters in Colombia are experiencing still today. And so recovery efforts continue, rescue efforts continue as well. And so with the numbers rising, so far over 100 people are pronounced dead, over 2,700 people are still missing as they search between the rubble to get to life, as we know it indeed. So the president of Colombia, who was just days before installed following their recent general elections there in Cuba,
to Bogota. I have ordered the suspension of my entire schedule in the nation's capital to focus on the natural disaster currently striking our long-suffering Colombian people. Colombia has a president who cares deeply about its people and who will do everything in his power to help them during these most difficult times, standing firm for the nation.
That's the new president of Colombia there, and so he has already issued a deployment of troops to ensure that there's no looting or people taking advantage of other people's misfortune. And so that's the activity happening right now in Colombia. As I said, we did reach out to people. I've already seen some messages coming from leaders of CARICOM in solidarity with Colombia, the people of Colombia. The U.S. State Department has already said they're going to be sending $15.5 million in emergency aid. And so naturally, us in the region know that will be, because of our capacity and generosity, will be called upon at some point in time to be able to assist in whatever ways that we possibly can. But we'll wait to hear what the official messages from the government of Barbados. Indeed, how many of you have relatives in Colombia or have relatives on visits to Colombia? Indeed, if you do, you can reach out to us, because if you can help us find a way to talk to them about what's happening there, to get a sense of that experience as well, then we'd be very, very appreciative of your support in that as well. So do send us that contact details, if you have any, to Mornin Barbados at cbc.bb. Mornin Barbados at cbc.bb. As you see there, medical teams are deployed everywhere because there are people either emotionally disrupted by this or physically impacted by it as well. And so the teams are out and about. The place of worship, the place of sanctuary, the place of safety for a lot of Colombians itself has been rocked and broken. And so they will find places and spaces where they'll continue to practice their faith and to reach out to God, because as I shared with you yesterday, keep your eyes upon Jesus. In the midst of every storm, if you just focus on him, he says, come. That's all he says, come. And if you are obedient enough, you will make your way through the storm. And so for Colombia, it is through the aftermath of this hurricane, this earthquake, indeed, that's impacted life and well-being there. People this morning, no doubt, are trying to figure, what should I go to work? What do I do? Or should I just stay in? There is a curfew that has been issued for the activities there in Colombia. And so, as you see, people are standing in groups, having conversation, just huddling in community, just feeling safe among each other, and that's it. And so life continues. Not all of Colombia has been impacted by the earthquake, but a significant portion of those cities of Choco and Cali and far-reaching areas as well. Even that community where they're known for the growth of cocoa, which it helps to produce their world-renowned coffees, that has been impacted too by this earthquake. So it has long-reaching economic impacts and significant inroads. And so we want to see what comes of this. So again, if you know of someone who's living in Colombia or someone who's visiting Colombia, whether it be your relative or friend or someone who you do business with, send us an email. We want to reach out to them too. Give us all of their contacts and we'll reach out, because we want to stay connected to this story. That's Mornin Barbados at cbc.bb, the email address. Mornin Barbados at cbc.bb, and we'll follow up. We are staying connected with the Colombian ambassador and the Colombian embassy to Barbados right here, and they have committed as soon as possible they can make connection. We will be able to have them on the show to talk a little bit more about what's happening, the need as they know it, and how can we help as well. So that's the ongoing story there in Colombia this morning. We'll take a break right here. We're coming back with more on Mornin Barbados in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
To the news now, boat owners in Barbados have reeled in almost $3 million in loans to repair or rebuild vessels damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Beryl. The Ministry of Environment, National Beautification and Fisheries launched its vessel replacement program under the Beryl Barbados project. Vonaro Corbin has more on that story.
The passage of Hurricane Beryl in 2024 resulted in significant losses to the fishing industry, affected infrastructure, and disrupted the livelihoods of most of the island's fisherfolk. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Environment, National Beautification and Fisheries, Santia Bradshaw, says the vessel replacement program will assist in rebuilding the sector. The World Bank is providing financing for the project, as well as oversight and support as government seeks to get the fishing community back to full capacity. Speaking at a media briefing at the Barbados Fisheries Division on the Princess Alice Highway in Bridgetown, she says that just under a dozen loans have been approved so far.
It was important for us to not only allow for this fund to serve the sector for now, but to make sure that we put in place the necessary financing to address the issues of today, while also equally planning for the future as well for this sector. So today we have 10 loans approved and another 17 applications at various stages of finalization. The amount committed to those first 10 at this point is $2.8 million.
The program will consist of two financing products. It can take the structure of a loan and grant facility or a grant-only product. Acting Chief Executive Officer with the Enterprise Growth Fund Limited, Ferdinand Strawn, shares details on the application process.
So under this loan and grant product, 25% of the funds needed to acquire a new vessel is in the form of a grant, and 75% is in the form of a loan. This is for the replacement of the vessel. Then there are other expenses that I mentioned, first trip expenses, first year's insurance, legal and associated costs. Those would be combined with the loan component of the vessel replacement, and that would give you the total loan that would be provided to the applicant.
Minister Bradshaw says the aim is to ensure that financing is manageable.
We are trying to bring back a working fleet, and the way to do that responsibly is through financing that owners can manage, which is why 75% comes as a loan and 25% as a grant facility.
She says there's also a 10% rebate for those who make repayments on time.
And the repayment for the boat loans initiative were built around how the industry actually works with its seasons and its fluctuations in catch. We also have built in an incentive for the owners who keep to the arrangements that they have signed off on, because borrowers who stick to their scheduled repayments and repay on time will benefit from a 10% rebate. No one designing this wanted the repayment to become another hardship for people who have already been through a lot. And I repeat, there is also the option of receiving the grant only, subject to the relevant conditions.
Applicants who have already rebuilt their vessels may still be eligible for the grant component subject to specific conditions. Bernardo Corbin, CBC News.
The Central Bank of Barbados is turning its attention to the challenges facing small, open economies as global economic conditions become increasingly uncertain. The bank's 46th annual review seminar is examining how Caribbean countries can respond to changes in global trade, climate risks, digital transformation, and financial markets. Here's a report from Deanza Roberts.
For small economies like Barbados, events happening outside the region can have a direct impact on the global economy. Changes in trade relationships, supply chains, global finance, and geopolitical developments can affect everything from import prices to business competitiveness. Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Barbados, Dr. Alwyn Jordan, says that is why they are calling for a shift in how small economies prepare for economic shocks.
For small open economies, uncertainty is becoming a structural feature of economic policy making rather than an occasional disruption. These developments are not distant events that we observe from afar. They shape our export potential, the prices we pay for imports, the resilience of our financial systems, the competitiveness of our businesses, and ultimately, the opportunities available to our citizens. These realities demand more than resilience. They require strategic thinking, sound institutions, and policies that are forward-looking and adaptable.
The message at the 46th Annual Review Seminar is that resilience alone may no longer be enough. The bank says countries must make strategic decisions before crises occur.
Moving beyond resilience means making choices before shocks arrive rather than after. Where to build redundancy and diversification, which investments and institutional capabilities to prioritize, what financing buffers to hold, how rapidly to deepen our digital infrastructure while managing vulnerabilities that accompany it, and which dependencies a small economy can prudently tolerate.
The seminar is bringing together researchers, policymakers, practitioners, and students from across the region. One of the major issues under discussion is how Caribbean countries can reposition themselves as the global trade system becomes less predictable.
How do Caribbean economies reposition trade, tourism, production, logistics, and financing in a global system that is becoming less predictable? Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the week, participants will explore issues ranging from financial intermediation, trade competitiveness and tourism, to inflation, digital transformation, and climate resilience. Together, these sessions provide a comprehensive examination of the forces reshaping our economies and the policy responses required to address them.
And with digital technology rapidly changing how businesses and financial institutions operate, the bank says there are also new risks that must be managed. The seminar is intended to explore strategies for building stronger, more adaptable economies as the country and other Caribbean countries navigate an increasingly uncertain global environment. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
As public transport operators face a slight fall-off in passengers, the Alliance Owners of Public Transport is working on a 10-point plan to modernize and overhaul the sector. Chairman Roy Raphael says the plan will be discussed with stakeholders, including representatives of the disabled community, in short order. He says the Alliance is also focusing on its drive to introduce electric and hybrid vehicles and route taxis to its fleet in its quest to transport public service vehicles from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Government made available through the budgetary proposals in 2023 $3 million to transport sector as an energy loan through fund access. He gave CBC News an insight into the plan.
Obviously, we have had some setback and we continue to get setback as relates to having these buses available to our members. Now, over about 15 persons have expressed interest in these buses, these electric buses. Right now we have 5 persons that have approved, but because the government will have change, they have a new minister in office, we tried to reach him many times, and what we would like to see is that we would like to, part of our plan going forward, we would like to see more of our buses being in electric vehicles. That also will assist the disabled community as well.
Mr. Raphael says within the next 2 weeks, the Alliance will be using 2 of its PSVs as trials for the much talked about cashless pay system.
This is just a provider that we're working with to gather data. So within the next couple of weeks, we should be seeing 1 or 2 of our vehicles on board with the cashless system, because it is important that we have our cashless system on board. We have been talking about this for a while, and I believe the time has come for us basically to have cashless system on board our buses. Not all of them, because it will take a number of months for us to really have full cashless system on board.
Let's get to sports now. The top performers of the Barbados CAC team have been the last to arrive home from Santo Domingo. There were 2 gold medals won by Team Barbados, both in squash, and that discipline also accounted for 4 of the 9 overall podium finishes. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce now reports.
This has become a regular scene at the Grantley Adams International Airport. Barbadian athletes and team officials returning home after representing the island well on the international stage. Over the last 24 hours, members of the Barbados Central American and Caribbean Games squash team touched down, smiling with medals around their necks, and they were greeted by family, friends, and sports administrators.
The tournament went fantastic. I feel like I exceeded my own expectations a little bit in the way that I played. I trained very hard for this tournament over the past couple of months, and when I went out there I felt free and just very relaxed, and when I won the medal I kind of shocked myself a little bit. I said, I actually did it, and this is what I was training for. So it was a bit of disbelief, and it took a bit of time for it to really hit me, but I'm happy for how it went.
Megan Bess is also happy with gaining a bronze medal.
I'm just proud and happy to bring home some hard weight to Barbados. I think we can all say that we've just been working hard, and over the years we've had some unfortunate losses and obviously some results as well in the wins, but this one is something special personally, just because I've been seeing these games happening for many years growing up and training, and to finally get an individual medal for myself means a lot, and I think it's just more motivation to keep going and keep bringing home results for Barbados, so I'm happy.
Team manager Kieran Megan says the team's performance is huge for the sport of squash in Barbados.
People are, with lots of social media and news, people are hearing about us because we've done something that's never been done before. So I think now people are going to be, what's this sport, squash? And then with the government building the new courts, which should be up and running by the end of the year, that's going to also let us get a lot more like youngsters in school programs, that sort of thing. So that's going to be massive for our sport. And I think we're going to see the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a huge growth in squash in Barbados.
Overall, Barbados won 9 medals at the CAC Games in Santo Domingo. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sport.
And that's our look at news and sports until now. We're 13 minutes after the hour 7. We're right back on Morning Barbados right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Preserve your personal priceless memories. Here at CBC, we transfer VHS, DVDs, Beta, U-matic, and DV cam tapes to modern digital formats. Safely, quickly, and affordably. Call CBC on 467-5437 to get started. In just 2 weeks, your memories will be ready to relive and share again.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
14 past the hour now. Don't forget the season of emancipation concludes on August the 27th, which is Jackie Opel Day. So that's another significant milestone for us to get ready to celebrate as well. But there's one that's almost upon us. As a matter of fact, time ticks by and waits literally for no man or woman. And so it's the Marcus Garvey Day celebrations, which this year are going to be really, really significant. And the rest we'll talk about as well with Rodney Grant, who is the program advisor in the Division of Youth and Culture on the Office of the Pan-African Affairs and Heritage. A mouthful, Rodney. But good morning.
Is right.
Yes. All's well?
Yes, please.
Good man.
Please.
Listen, let's talk about this Marcus Garvey, this celebration of Marcus Garvey coming up. But I want to do that within the context of understanding the man.
Yes, please.
And his contribution generally.
Well, Marcus Garvey, was what we would call a significant orator. And one of those people who stood up for black consciousness and black people. And he believed significantly in the return of African people to the African continent. African people at home and abroad. That was the message that he used to expound. But he also believed in self-empowerment. When he left Jamaica and went over to America, Garvey started several businesses. He bought ships. He started several press businesses, papers and stuff. And, and that would have been at a very difficult time in America to take that kind of chance. A black man coming from the Caribbean, going to America and having the guts to be able to, say, I want to start a business, but not only start a business, but then preach this back to Africa movement, in America at a time when America wasn't nice to people of African descent. So that was Garvey in a nutshell. He was one who was not afraid. He was unafraid in terms of speaking what he believed in. He believed in the upliftment and the dignity of the African person. And so that made him a very significant person in the struggle for African liberty and, the emancipation of black people.
Because you said that last phrase, the emancipation of black people, we get the connection because there's some who wonder, but he's a Jamaican, what does he have to do with how we celebrate our emancipation here?
Yeah, for sure. No, but Garvey impacted the world. And in fact, if you listen to President Mahama from Ghana, he says all the time, he reminds us of the influence that Garvey had on President Nyerere from Ghana and the fact that they were influenced by Garvey to put that symbol of the black star in their flag because of what Garvey preached. So although Garvey, and and this is the thing about people, global personalities, and it don't matter where you come from, and Peter Tosh saying it, don't matter where you come from as long as a black man or African.
That's right.
And Garvey, spoke to black people all over the world. It didn't matter if you were Jamaican, if you were American, if you were whatever. He spoke to the consciousness of black people and to the dignity, the uplifting dignity of black people, wherever they were.
And so the conversation continues. And I'm glad, I know that's part of the effort for the celebration, I call it complaining and fretting about slavery, to how do we recognize who we are and the power that we do have.
Exactly. And in that sense, then we're having a number of events next week, I believe on the 17th. So we are bringing in the author, activist, and actor, activist, and author, Jennifer Lewis. 3 A's, interested. And she's coming in to deliver what we call a fireside chat public conversation with at the LESC, August the 17th. And, I made a point before that we wanted to move the conversation from slavery to see where we are going and to make the same link and the same movement that Garvey took from moving from Jamaica to America and impacting the world from the soil of the United States of America. And therefore, we want to look at that personality that made it through the struggles, own personal challenges, and then the challenges of the time. And black people in America had it easy. Didn't have it. They had to deal with the civil rights movement. People, and if they did, they had to sit in the back. They couldn't go in certain stores. They were behind. They were really cool. They were treated, really very harshly. And therefore, for a person to rise in that society and to become anything, I think is important to hear those stories and to hear the challenges that Afro-Caribbean people would have went through, Afro-American people would have went through, and to make the connection. And we are trying to make the connection even in terms of, as we speak to the issue of reparations, we are trying to make the connection. Because it's not only about, Afro descendants in Barbados, but again, like Garvey, around the world. Wherever black people suffered, wherever they struggle. You spoke to the ambassador this morning about Castro. And slavery in Cuba, they had the longest journey. They didn't finish slavery till like 1886, 48 years after we finished in 1838, so it went on for another 48 years in Cuba. And therefore, and look how Cuba emerged, even outside of having a longer journey with slavery and then having to endure what America is doing to them, and look how they still rise. And they're still there and they're still resistant. So the story of resistance and resilience have to be continually told. Wherever people of African descent, wherever we reside across the world, because these are the things that inspire us. And in my early days, when NAFA used to always say to us, you have to read autobiographies of people. You have to learn from the struggles other people went through, and that's how you learn, because you don't make the same mistake.
That's right.
Or you learn from what they did, So we have to learn from African people wherever they are.
And so this journey through our celebration of emancipation really is for us to clean the lens, to look at the mirror yet again and redefine the image we're seeing. And so this conversation we're having at Fireside with Jennifer Lewis, when she arrives in Barbados on the 17th, begins us again, reminds us why we have not to allow ourselves to be defined by someone else's criteria, but to recognize through that same resiliency that we talked about and that we've seen over time. We have a lot that people envy, as a matter of fact, that the world envies.
Of course.
And we see it in so many expressions across the world, indeed, whether it's in arts, whether it's in sports, it's in everywhere. Black people are some of the best, if not the best, in every one of those disciplines.
We
just finished the Football World Cup. And we saw black people out there
dominating. African nations dominating.
And so we got to get real now as a people and recognize this is truly the light of period of enlightenment.
There you go.
And so in that period of enlightenment, we need to get to know for sure. And we need to be able to get to know, to celebrate and support ourselves as we go forward. And so she's coming.
Yes, please.
She's going to be in Barbados. I know she's going to also have a special moment with young people.
With the youth, yes, please. On the 18th, the next day, on the 18th at the Wilde Gymnasium between 9 and 12. We scheduled that period for, she's going to have a special conversation with the nation's youth. So we're bringing about 280 children from the camps across Barbados, but we're also extending the invitation to all the creatives, the creative groups, the cultural organizations, creatives at BCC, to come out, engage her, get to understand what it takes to move through the obstacles, to make it to the top. In terms of acting, in terms of theater, in terms of personal life, in terms of writing books, and all the things that she would have achieved, her own mental and personal challenges. She always talks about these things. And, in speaking to her, she's so excited to be here. We spoke to her earlier this week, and, she's so excited. She's almost elated to be here to Barbados. And she said very clearly, I want to talk to young people. And then, little later in that same day, she's going out to engage about 3 or 4 women's organizations. So I think she's going to visit Save and two others. Therefore, we want Barbados to come out because she wants to have a conversation with them and in terms of how we can move through our challenges, whether they're personal, whether it's societal, whether they're historical, and move through these personal challenges, the societal challenges, and what it takes to move through these things to make it in a society.
And to again reaffirm that we have the capacity to do so. We have the capacity to do so. And so this is going to be a really special one indeed.
Yes, please.
Am I right in saying that the son
Marcus Garvey.
You finish the conversation for me, so you go ahead.
Yes, please. So the son of Marcus Garvey, Dr. Julius Garvey, we also was with him in Ghana, Accra, earlier this year, and Prime Minister invited him over. And he's going to be here joining us with his wife as well, and they're going to be guests at the chat with Jennifer Lewis. But he's also going to deliver a message as well at the Daphne Hackett on the 20th. This one is by invitation. It's a small space. It's only about 200 seats. But and he's also here to do a rededication of the Marcus Garvey Amphitheatre the morning of the 17th. So he's also going to be quite busy. So he's going to be here to about his father, what his father meant to him growing up, how his legacy has impacted his own life. Because he's now, I think he's a surgeon, he's a doctor, and he's in his own right. And I'm sure that his father would have, impacted on him in some way, watching how he would have moved through the challenges that he would have went through. I didn't think he had any particular formal education, but he made it in the world. That's right. And become an international, global figure. So I think that's something to be really proud of. If he was my father, I would have been proud of him.
But what he proved for me is the power of the mind. The power of the mind. Yes, and again, I use the word capacity again. We are all given a mind. Yes, it's how we train that mind to respond to what we see as necessary. Yes, we tend sometimes as human beings to get a little bit selfish. I want to make a vase, and that's all I want to see. But then it's a vase for who? Who benefits from this? If we can see beyond ourselves and see people in need, then we see our space within that particular trajectory.
And so, thinking.
Marcus Garvey came to Barbados. I know that the late Walton Barrow, right, national hero, he also benefited from that exposure as well, because a lot of his philosophies followed from. And that's what we're talking about today. So now you have an opportunity when we meet with these folks who come to Barbados to be able to absorb a little bit of what they have already absorbed. And in doing that, we build up ourselves on our journey towards self-recognition. So that's happening. But what else is happening for the season of emancipation?
Well, we're also moving into the finals. Actually, today, when I leave here, at the Marriott's later to this morning, we are having the final pitch for the 5 finalists for the Marcus Garvey Awards. That award has significantly grown over the last 4 years. I said in 2023 we started, we had only 15 entrants. 2024 we had 30. 2025 we had 63. This year we had 130. Wow. So every year it has doubled for the last 4 years. And we hope that the money can double. I try to find a way if somebody could give us another 30,000. Yes. But it has become such an important feature for the Barbadian creative to want to be able to get in there, pitch their ideas, to be able to, to get some resources to be able to move the idea forward and to make it become a reality. So this morning we are having the final 5 pitched before the judges at the Marriott's. So hopefully by August the 17th we'll be able to produce and the general public.
Wow. I can't wait. There's a lot. There's a lot happening about this. Don't close your eyes on this. Don't close your eyes on this. But next week, Monday the 17th, you'll have an opportunity at the Lloyd Erskine Sandifer Center at 6:30 to come to the fireside chat with Jennifer Lewis and Dr. Julius Garvey as well. So while there, you get a chance to engage with. You get a chance to answer questions, not just to sit there in awe and wonder and just take in alone, but express yourself. Then on the Tuesday, all the young people of Barbados, you're invited to the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium, again, which is a place which is iconic, Garfield Sobers Gymnasium, to see how you can, through your creative arts, be seen. A lot of us, over time, people of color, we have been not seen in certain spaces and certain rooms, but you can be seen, and so Jennifer Lewis will teach you how to show up and show out and be seen and have doors open for you. And even if doors are not open for you, how you can create and make your way in spite of it all, which is again the story of Marcus Garvey. All of that is happening. But very soon we'll hear who has won the Marcus Garvey Award. And I would like to meet the awardee here on Mornin Barbados.
Yes, please, for sure. We'll make sure we send.
You know, I always hold you to a word. I always hold you to a word.
Yes, I'm sure my PR Kathy is listening.
Good. So Kathy, the winner, we got to see them right here on Mornin Barbados because it's a significant boost and a fillip to what we're doing here. Sure. And this is all part of us moving towards enlightenment Barbados as black people, showing how powerful we are, how significant we are, and we have everything we need to be and to succeed and to show the rest of the world we are better in most cases than. I'm not boasting. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
Thank you as always, Rodney.
Thank you as well, Pearson.
You're very
always.
welcome.
Yes, please.
Mornin Barbados is coming back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Preserve your personal priceless memories. Here at CBC, we transfer VHS, DVDs, Beta, U-matic, and DV cam tapes to modern digital formats. Safely, quickly, and affordably. Call CBC on 467-5437 to get started. In just 2 weeks, your memories will be ready to relive and share again.
Are you ready to turn it all the way up? We make you feel good, your #1 party station. Non-stop hits and the latest trends in music, fashion, and everything lit. Hit us up on socials at 981 Barbados on IG and 98.1 The One on Facebook. This is your world. Your playlist, your station. 98.1, The One.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Co-worker of mine, because our boys went and really enjoyed it. My first son went during the COVID year, but it wasn't a sleepover camp. But my younger son and my daughter attended the full sleepover program. I thought that it would be a good experience for the children to build their confidence going into secondary school. I was very impressed with the staff at NCSA and how they planned the program for the parents' reassurance and the children's comfort. I found that with each child after the program, they felt that they had accomplished something by going through all of the stages of the program and sleeping away from home and managing themselves for that time. So I'm pleased with the program and I would recommend it to others.
From my point of view, it was really about getting the children to be more independent. So usually you find that the experience is that all the children don't prefer to go because there are other things that they want to do at home. But when you actually see them in the camp environment and the level of it that you see them get to learn after the fact during the last day that the parents actually come and are part of, it really shows that the children really enjoy the experience and they had that independent experience, roasting breadfruit and going on hikes and the things that children really need to understand and appreciate when they're making that transition from primary school to secondary school. So for me, I would definitely also 100% recommend it. And yeah, you should definitely sign up and let your child be a part of that experience.
And with that, we say thank you so much for joining us. Just kidding. We heard the endorsement. Michaela Bourne, who is one of the prevention officers at the NCSA, and I saw the excitement of the parents for the result that came from this experience.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados. First of all, thank you so much for having us. And yes, this is Project Safeguarding Our Future Today. Time again.
Yes.
And we want Barbados to know this is our 24th year of implementing this program. It is a 3-pronged program. The first phase, we have the children, we take them out to the community. They cannot bring any devices.
Good.
And most of them come crying. And when they come and they sleep in for a week, they're leaving crying. They don't want to go home,
yes.
right? And the second phase, we continue to follow them until March next year. And the third phase, we work with the parents where we have a 12-week program for them as well, where we do education as well as life skill building. So we actually do role playing and things like that to help increase the life skills of the parent and their parenting skills as part of this program. So this is the National Council on Substance Abuse Transitional Program.
Yes.
And we are always excited when it's this time again for Project Soft.
What's your capacity? How many can you accommodate?
We do 40 children each year.
40. And where are we now in terms of numbers? We good?
So at this time, no, we still have some spaces.
Okay, just want to make sure parents understand that.
Yes, we have spaces, and parents can feel free to call now and secure the space to ensure that that their family can be a part of this program. Now, this program is not one that we look for specific indicators relating to drug, but is one that we see all children at risk when you're transitioning, because research says that when change happens, different persons can cope in different ways. And some people may choose to use a drug to cope with that change that is happening. So we want to give not only the children, but the entire family circle as they transition from having their nice and cute babies to having adolescents. And how do you process that change happening inside of the home? So we work with you to understand things like your adolescents grow at night. So when they get up in the morning and they knock over the tea, it is not that they're clumsy. It is that their brain has not caught up with where their body is at. A lot is happening in that adolescent, a lot of hormones, a lot of changes. How do you process that as a family? You know, that you don't run them out to the home to someone else or to another group.
That's right.
In order to get that information that they need. So we cover all those things through the Project Soft program. And you heard the testimony earlier from the parents. And if you go on our Instagram, you'll even see more testimonies right there from parents who have been a part of the program.
It's developmental, it's life-changing, not just for the child, but for the family.
Yes.
And so when the family thrives, the individual thrives as well. And so that's what the Project Soft is designed to do, safeguarding our future today. And so today, you have an opportunity to get your child and register to be a part of Project Soft. This 1 week camp is an in-camp session, so you sleep in, so the little ones come away from you, and they spend time with the folks at the NCSA to do so. Look at the bottom of your screen, everybody. Look, 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 look. I know you're busy getting things done. Look at the bottom. Your contact information is right there. It's 535-6272. 535-6272, or you can send an email if you care to do so at ncsa.info@barbados.gov.bb. But call, and the office will open soon, but call 535-6272 and get your child in place. Indeed, this camp starts on the 23rd, and it runs for just that 1 week, but it's a significant week.
Yes,
it makes a big difference. We talked about there are some people, children who turn to substance to support them, but sometimes they don't turn to a substance, they turn to becoming leaders as well. And sometimes that in itself, if you don't know how to manage your skills, you can turn into something very dangerous as well.
That is right. And if you look at the world and history, it takes great leaders that influence people, whether positive or negative, over the years. And we want to be able to get those skills out of the children so that they are comfortable with who they are and they're comfortable in their spaces that they can say no. If there's a negative something that they can say, no, I do not want to be a part. And we practice those skills at the camp. We practice drug refusal skills and refusal skills in general. So we have like 2 sessions where we first of all see how the children respond to scenarios, and then we give them the information, the demonstration, and get them practicing things that may happen or they may encounter, so that if they encounter these things, they are already with the words and the knowledge on how to do it with confidence.
You're so good on that. That's the truth. I tell you, I'll use me as an example, big old me, because I know my strengths, and I knew my strengths from quite young. I also knew the things that would trigger me and cause me to stop and plot and plan. And I know I could plot and plan really well. So I had to teach myself how to deny that side of me, or how to manage that side of me. So it's always for good.
Pearson, I love that you use the word manage, because a lot of time I meet parents when we're doing sessions and they want to cancel. Oh, this child is too stubborn. They don't listen. And I'm saying, but that is beautiful that they're stubborn. Let's work now. They get into the world, into the environment, into secondary school. That is what's going to save them. So don't just blanket say you're stubborn, so it's negative, but use it as a strength so that when they encounter things in life, that they can stand for the values of the household.
That's right. And that's why I like the fact that you're also tackling the parents as well, because the support element of this is so very critical indeed. So that's why we start getting our future today. And so the future requires all of us to play an active role day by day going forward. So once the camp is done, it's not the end of your responsibility and all of a sudden you have a perfect child. No. You have to reinforce it every day by your example, not just your words.
Exactly.
And so parents, this is so important. This is so vitally important. It's given to you for nothing.
Yes, thanks to Sandy Lane Charitable Trust. They are our lead sponsor this year. And other persons within Corporate Barbados and most of our National Council on Substance Abuse, we are able to say to parents, you do not have to pay a registration fee. No registration fee. I'm not telling persons it's free because there is a high cost. As you imagine, we prepare breakfast, lunch, dance. If you come on out, we do anger management, stress management, bullying, adolescent development, social graces. So there are a lot of art things that are missing. Simple things like saying thank you.
Yes.
Good morning. And passing a generation that passing, I'm like, am I invisible?
Yes.
Did they see me? So we do not want to leave what are the core values of Barbados, because anytime you hear tourists come here, they say one of the things they love is that as you walk the street, people speak.
That's right.
So we don't want to lose that for our generation. So those are just a touch of the things that we try to do for our young people. Well, at camp and at our camp, there's one set of rules for everyone. So we are not just teaching the children, we the team leaders, we demonstrate the behaviors at the camp in our part of our lifestyle, so it is easy for them to catch on.
Indeed. 535-6272. 535-6272, the number to call right now and register your child. There's still some spaces left. It's a sleep-in camp. You can be assured that the counselors from the National Council on Substance Abuse will protect your children, but they will invite your children to participate in some uplifting and life-changing activities as well, part of which is to be civil, part of which is understanding one's body changes as well, and how we react and how the mind has been shifted going into puberty and adolescence as well. How do we manage that process as well? But they'll also work with you parents to help you also support your children as it goes. And so I encourage all of you to, as your Rosemary Allen would say, don't dilly-dally. Get on the phone, 535-6272, or send an email to ncsa.info@ncsa.gov.bb, right?
Yes, please.
Boy, the memory good. Memory sticky
well
today.
Done, well done.
But this is brilliant. And you have what's the deadline, by the way, for entry?
We want persons to register by Wednesday, because on Thursday we are having a parents meeting on the 13th for parents to come and meet the entire team, be a part of us, see who we are, and get comfortable with us basically as we prepare to transition to in-camp. Just before we wrap up, I want to thank Barbados Police Service, Barbados Fire Service. I really want to thank Barbados Defense Force, who over the years have really come on board and help us to implement this camp successfully with security and different sessions, transportation, and all the other sponsors. Thank you so much. Without you, this project itself would not have made it to 24 years.
And this growing up. So it's going to make it through another year. Indeed, that's because of your support at Barbados. So do register as quickly as possible. You have until Wednesday to do so. 535-6272. 535-6272. Call very fast. Thank you again, Makeda.
You're so welcome.
You're very welcome too. Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit. testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are on
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Barbados prepares to celebrate the climax of crop over this year, this whole weekend, right through till Tuesday, dedicated to just that. So if you're on the island as a guest to Barbados, we welcome you. You are in the right place at the right time, but you're also encouraged to stick around because Barbados is also preparing to mark 60 years of independence this coming November 30th, 5 years as a republic. And so there are a slew of activities that are happening as part of that celebration, part of which is a project known as BIM at 60, put on by the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. Joining me from that organization is their librarian, very good friend, former CBC, means so much to me and my understanding of how to access information, Harriet Pierce. Harriet, good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
And you remember her from Book Talk, indeed. With her is Errol Clark, who is the finance officer with the Barbados Museum. Right. Yes. So good to have you, Errol, as well. But you also are the man responsible for the big project that the Barbados Museum and Historical Society is putting on as part of our this anniversary celebrations. Talk to me a little bit about BIM at 60 and its scope and how we can all be a part.
Well, BIM at 60 celebrates two things, right? As you said earlier, we are approaching 6 years of independence. The museum is approaching 100 years. In 1933, the museum was launched. 2033 will be 100 years. 6 years of independence is a good launch for the museum. And what we decided to do was to involve the public in the process of determining what we will want to see represented as our redeveloped galleries. So BIM at 60 is the start of a process where you would engage the public in selecting the things that they want to see. So we started with the 60 songs. But that process of 60 songs is not a popularity contest, as Harriet will get into in more detail. We're looking at the songs that represent the history, the culture, the spirit of Barbados. So it's not a popularity contest, but a contest that looks at what Barbados has evolved into. And as you know, music really celebrates the history and prolongs the history.
To have it done in a way that we're able still to access as we go by. So the criteria, how did you go about, what's the criteria to determine those songs? Because I know it's going to be a case where we can vote. What's the criteria to get into that process of being available for voting?
Okay, thank you. Okay, as I said, it's a whole process. I will point to the fact that it's a community engaged project. So what we did, first of all, is we want this project to document Barbados's musical history, which is part of Barbados's documentary history. But how do we go about this? So we developed criteria, and that was based on nationality. We wanted to make sure that we represented Barbadians, also not only by birth, but by descent, persons who settled here for a specific time. And we also wanted to look at those songs that were developed by persons who were not born in Barbados, but also have Barbados and culture. We wanted to make sure that the songs, of course, were not vulgar or expose any negative beliefs and so on. So we want it to be historical, cultural, and that those songs meant something to Barbados, whether through their content, through the fact that the song represented a change in the musical tradition, all of that. So we put together the criteria, and then we also wanted to have that engagement at different levels. So we started by putting together a panel of experts, persons who are practitioners, persons who are versed in our musical history. And we got them together. Of course, we also made sure, because this is a very serious project, that they signed the confidentiality, they declared any possible conflict of interest and so on. And all that was done. And then we asked them to first work independently and select the songs that they think meet this criteria. Then those songs were fed into a common base. Everybody, all the songs were into a common base, working independently. Then we met, discarded, some were added, some that were kind of on the fence, there was some discussion. So we had that. And then we had a list, a final list, which will then go to the public, which is another layer of that engagement, where the public will then vote on those 60 songs.
And what I think is interesting as well about the project, since we were teased about it here on Morning Barbados, and let me tell you, when we were teased, then we had such response from viewership. They're all excited. Bajans are ready for this indeed. The different genres, because over time, Barbados, we started with the soca and the calypso, we played with just the box guitar, and but the instrumentation that led to the development of the orchestration of music also shifted. And so we will hear that in the music, and we want to recognize that shift as well as one of those songs that represent a change in time in Barbados. And so there are different genres. There's some that don't think it's all about all the old music alone. There's new music. There's new music as well that would make the criteria. And I'm saying that to say to younger people, this is not an old people activity. This is an all-of-nation activity. And so if you're not yet familiar with the music, perhaps it gives you an opportunity to become a little bit more familiar with the music. Part of that lack of familiarity also is in whose music it is, who wrote it, who orchestrated it, where did it come from, and that's the knowledge base that you're building in this exhibition that will eventually be able to come out as well later on, right?
Yes, because it's not only about collating titles of songs and so on, but also collating the contextual information that accompanies the songs. So we want to know the names of the performers, their real names, and we know sometimes...
Don't ask me what Karu's real name is, because I've forgotten.
Right.
Yes.
So there's a lot of information that may seem obvious, but when you try to find it, it's very difficult to find. So one of the things we want to do is to put together this repository of songs, nation-building songs, songs that are of Barbadian heritage and culture, but also the information that accompanies them, the stories behind the songs, you know, who wrote them, who arranged them, and how, when and when they were first performed, all of that information. And perhaps this is a time where the public can again assist us by helping us collect this information. So if anyone out there has information, they can go on our website. The songs are on our website at www.barbmuse.org.bb. And if you have any information about those songs, feel free to contact me. My email address is library@barbmuse, barbmuse.org.bb, and let's discuss.
Yeah, please do, because we have time allows us to forget, but you may be able to fill that gap. So if you can, just contact library@barbmuse.org.bb. Harriet and her team will be happy to engage with you in the information, because we're building another exhibition here as it goes. But you also have a chance to determine what are some of those exciting sounds in different genres, whether it's gospel, reggae, ska, calypso, whatever. The spooge even.
Yeah.
That's right.
Dub, that old dub
as well. So all of that. We want to get a sense of the Barbados BIM at 60 indeed. And so as we celebrate over time, 60 years, we've also journeyed over 60 years in music. So if you go to the website, as we're showing you on the screen right now, the Barbados Museum and Historical Societies, barbmuse.org.bb, this is what you'll engage with. We're looking at 60 years, 60 songs, One Nation's soundtrack, 60 years again. And so you vote for a song, read the declaration, of course, but vote for the song. And that's what it is. It is not a competition that says, you know, oh, RPB won. No, that's not what it's about. And you have a number of votes that you can actually take, right, Errol?
You can vote 10 times.
10
songs.
And
for 10 songs.
I can vote for 10 songs.
Yeah, and you could go back and edit your songs if you feel that there's something else that you think is more popular. You know? So you have a chance to change the list of songs that you have actually.
And it's live. This is live right now. We can actually go now and do this.
People have voted already.
What are you all waiting for, people? People have already voted. Don't be last. But you can be last, and it's still okay. Every vote really counts at the end of it all. But you can go to the website right now and browse, see, read up a little bit. If you think that there is something that ought to have made that list, because we may have forgotten, as life is, contact library at barbmuse.org.bb. Talk to Harriet and her team. Tell a story. Give the reason why beautiful Barbados. And the story I learned only because of Sir Emil's passing, of how that song came about. Did you hear?
Yeah.
You heard Errol, right?
Yes, I did.
Tell me what you heard.
Well, there was this tourist who came to Barbados who actually wrote the song on a piece of paper.
On a tissue paper. Pass it over. And it was just that developed a song that Barbadians have embraced as ours. And so here we are now. This is what this whole project is about. I suspect then that at the closure of the project, that you now have a music museum. I call it that.
Well, there's more than that also. Obviously, 60 songs will be selected, but there are more than 150 artists involved. We're going to be doing many documentaries and a major documentary on the artists involved. There will be educational information produced. There will be exhibitions, permanent and temporary. And that will lead to a entertainment gallery at the museum. Because in the past we didn't have anything significant on music, and we intend to change that in the future. Now, we should mention that the NCF readily came on board as a national partner, and the media has also worked with us. They'll be playing the songs. So it is a national project. We have the media on board, the NCF on board, and we're looking to bring other people on board. But at the end of the day, this is going to be something that preserves and documents the music of Barbados and the entertainment industry in a way. There's a lot we don't know about the entertainers. Some are dying. We lose 2 this year already, and we need to capture as much information on them while they're still alive. Now, you mentioned that young people should vote. They should get interested, because today's music is tomorrow's history.
Indeed. And
we need to preserve that also. So why we brought the people on board, we didn't want it just to be the popular songs, really, because you know that when I say popular, if you just looked at the new music, you would have a situation where artists who have large social media followings or songs that are currently popular might dominate. But we decided that's why we had this expert panel to ensure that what we selected represented history, culture, and intellect, and the skills of the artists, you know. So it was much more than just a popularity contest.
Indeed so. And I want to look at today's music. You want to say something, Harriet?
Yes, I wanted to just add to what Errol was saying, the fact that this project transcends music. Yes, you're going to have a repository of Barbadian musical history. But when you look at that repository, to the music, you see the history of the events, public opinion. You also see the evolution of language. You see the kinds of literary tools that were used back in the day as opposed to the ones that are used now. So it is also going to be important for not just music scholars, but persons who are looking at language, history. It is a repository for all. And because it has that public engagement, I think everyone has ownership, and everyone has contributed to the final project.
See why I like working with this woman? All of that, you're so right, indeed. And so if you've done your own scribbling of lyrics and you wanted to crush it into a ball, just straighten it out a little again. But even in that disused state, it is still something of value. You can deposit it at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. That's important. And so don't lose your intellectual property. Let's use our intellectual property again. Let's document this of time. And so I want to come to the newer music of today, because younger people write a little differently. The language changes. The way by which they express themselves also changes. And so is there enough of a category of today's music in this BIM at 60 project?
Yes, it is,
Is it sufficient?
The Calypso dominates, because, you know, that's the music that most people resonate around. But
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Preserve your personal priceless memories. Here at CBC, we transfer VHS, DVDs, Beta, U-matic, and DV cam tapes to modern digital formats. Safely, quickly, and affordably. Call CBC on 467-5437 to get started. In just 2 weeks, your memories will be ready to relive and share again.
Are you ready to turn it all the way up? We make you feel good. Your #1 party station. Non-stop hits and the latest trends in music.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We've had a full day today, Barbados, and we want to thank you so much for keeping company with us. My crew joins me in saying to all of you, have a terrific today. Be the will of the Lord. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning.